Good afternoon, everybody. Today's Tuesday, November the 4th. Not only that, but it's voting day. So we went down today, and there were a couple of citizens initiatives that we voted on. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the long run, but I guess maybe it does. But we don't want to talk about that today. One thing I did want to talk about, we've been talking about root cellars and food storage lately. Right, Emma? Right, girl? Anyway, Emma has a hillside right here that the cabin root cellar was dug into. And I want to talk about that for just a second. If you have a bank, a dirt bank, you can, I've never done it, but I have read that you can actually dig into a dirt bank and install a garbage can, for example. I mean, if you're really desperate to get some cold food storage going, you could install a garbage can into a dirt bank. That's kind of, I mean, you could do it. So I'm not suggesting that you do it, but I'm saying if you're desperate for some form of cold food storage, that is one option. Another option that one of the readers, or rather one of the commenters mentioned, and that is if you wanted to dig, you could get an old chest freezer, dig a hole in the ground, and put the chest freezer in the ground. And that could be kind of a very crude root cellar, if you will. So that's another idea. The arugula is coming up right on schedule. I'm liking how that's looking. And over here the spinach is just beginning to emerge. I've seen a couple of little tiny seedlings in there. Another great leafy green vegetable that you can grow, if you have something of a hoop house or even low hoops, is this one right here. Its nickname is miner's lettuce. It might be called Mizuna otherwise. But this thing, it has just a single leaf right now. But as the fall wears on into winter, and winter on into spring, that thing is going to get a nice big, almost like a four-leaf clover-like shape to it, with a little flower in the middle. And it will seed itself, and it just keeps growing. We're protecting it right now, but that's going to get bigger and bigger. The whole little patch of it right there. This is our compost bin that we're going to use in 2 years. This compost bin had been heaped up to there, but now it's settled in, if you will. It's decomposed, and it's looking really good. Now we could probably even use it right now if we had to, but we've got another compost bin right outside this hoop house that we're going to be using next year. So we run 3 compost bins, and that's how we run it, a 3 compost bin system. This compost bin right here, as do the other 2, has all of our humanure for an entire year. So right there in that little compost bin, it's only about 3.5 feet wide by about 4 feet deep and maybe 30 inches high. That is for 2 people with the occasional guest. That is the humanure for an entire year. And it's going to go into the garden in the form of compost. That to me is amazing. We've begun doing some winterizing. I've got the garden hose all collected up, rolled up. I've got the water out of them, and I've got them over there on that table in the far corner of the hoop house. And so the next thing to come down is the screen door. We won't need the screen door anymore. And we have our flax redding tub just outside. It's about half full of water now. I'll be emptying that out, and I'll be putting that away. Tomorrow is errands day, so it won't happen tomorrow. Probably on Thursday or Friday. These are Danielle's 2 winter density lettuce plants. She said that they're going to be head lettuces. And I think she has 3 or 4 more in the house under the grow lights still. And they're going to go down here in the rest of this bed, which is great. Hoop houses, they're really, if you have the ability to get a hoop house, or even to make a hoop house, and if you're serious about this business of growing food and trying to survive whatever kind of a catastrophe awaits us, if you're like us and you're trying to dig your heels in to survive what's coming, a hoop house might not be a bad idea. We love this hoop house. I have to do some repairs to it because we've had it for about 10 years. I need to rebuild that entire end wall down there, and I've got a couple of holes in the side plastic. I want to put a new piece of side plastic just from that pipe down and replace that. But otherwise, this hoop house, we do so much in here, and I actually love coming down here and just hanging out. There's nothing much more fun than being in the hoop house here, and you look at the side plastic there, and you've got snow 3 feet up. That is a lot of fun being in here when that happens. Yeah, so we went down to do some voting today, and I don't really care to leave the campus. We're looking at each other like, oh, do we really want to go down and vote? But at the end of the day, well, anyway, we went down and placed our votes. And it's best that we do, but it's really strange. We talked about being a hermit before, and I could probably be something of a hermit, whatever that means. I don't even know what it means. Danielle is a bit more social than me. She makes sure that we have some friends, but it's really difficult. It's really difficult. Tomorrow we do errands, which means that we'll be gone off the property for a few hours, and I don't really care for it, but you know, there are certain things you have to do, so I'm not that crazy. But I'm always looking forward to getting home, and I love being next to the wood stove. It's warm, and invariably we have a soup on the wood stove, and maybe we've made a bread or something, and I just love being home. And you're going to see a lot of footage, if you follow the channel that is, you'll see a lot of footage of me sewing. I got a lot of projects to sew, and I hope to bring you along with every one of them. And also some spinning. Today, while we were waiting to go down to vote, I had about an hour to kill, so I was spinning flax. I was just having a great time next to the wood stove, spinning flax. I thought about getting the camera out and recording some of it, but I want to do it right. But I'm looking for a sunny day now because the flax, I've started breaking the flax. Now what does that mean? It means you've got, the flax grows to be about 3.5 feet tall. You dry it, you red it, you dry it again, and then it has to be broken so that you can get the fiber out. And to break it, you typically have a little wooden tool, and you may have seen me in that last video or that other video where I was doing that breaking of the flax. An antique break is quite expensive if you can find them. They're hard to find. You pretty much have to make your own, and I made my own. I'm actually not finished. I haven't finished building it yet. I still need to make some legs, and I want to paint it so it looks a little bit nice. But I enjoyed breaking that flax the other day, and the strands of the flax fiber are so beautiful, and I'm looking forward to starting the spinning. I want to do an in-depth video on spinning the flax. We'll probably just cover it all in one video, but I want to show you how wool is spun. We have a spinning wheel that's meant just for wool, and then we have another one that we use for flax. It's called a flax wheel, a Saxony flax wheel. So we're going to talk about those things in great detail. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping that I can talk about the spinning wheel outside, but I'm going to need a day that's not too uncomfortable to be outside, a nice sunny day that's not windy. We had one yesterday, and I was working on the flax break. I'm not really talking about anything substantive right now, so maybe I won't hold you all up much longer. I do have a friend who lived in California, and he was getting so fed up with California. He was in the Coachella. Is Coachella a town? He lived in the Coachella area, and he had a decent job, but he was just so fed up. Not just with government. Government, in his mind, was bad enough, but just, the people that he came into contact with, and just how, how our nation has just gotten to the point that it is in right now, which is not very good, and he saw it firsthand. There's only so much one or two people can do to save the sinking ship. Eventually, you have to get in your lifeboat. So, if you think, this is not politics. So don't think, oh, she's talking about politics. This is not politics. I'm just calling balls and strikes. So, if you think of the country, or any country, as not doing well, or maybe even if you feel that it's doing really bad, you have to save yourself somehow. Which means not, in the case of Danielle and me, it's not staying within the system. We want to get out of the system, whatever the system is. What's the system? Well, having as little to do with government as possible. Anyway, that's what he decided to do. He left the beautiful California area. There was a time when people were California dreaming. But, I don't know, I guess there are still some people who are. But this individual decided he's not California dreaming anymore. He moved to California from Chicago, or Illinois anyway, near Chicago. And he decided that he had to get out. So he talked the talk. And then he walked the walk. He got out, he found a piece of property in Alabama, of all places. And he's got, I forget how many acres he's got. I mean, the road into his place is 1/4 mile long. And he's doing a lot of good things. He just got baby chicks, and he's so proud. Now, this is a city guy. And now he's got, I saw his little video that he made. He's got a little encirclement that we all have who homestead, and he's got his heat light, and he's got his little baby chicks in there. They're so pretty, and I'm so proud of him for doing this. And I guess next spring he's going to start planting some vegetable crops, which are really, it's just so nice to see somebody not just dreaming about it, but actually doing it. And he's training himself. He's got good training. He's got good defense. And he's really getting it done. I mean, you can only hope for the government to do a good job so much. And after a while, it's like, I got to do what I got to do. And that's pretty much what Danielle and I did. When we came up here to Maine, we were, we had gotten together and we're listening to podcasts. Danielle was doing a lot of artwork back then, commissions, and I was building musical instruments, and so we worked in a studio in an attic of our second floor apartment. and we would listen to talk radio, and we started to listen to different speakers. Ralph Nader, Chris Hedges, and different ones like that. And we started to form opinions. Then eventually we heard about the Federal Reserve and the catastrophe that the Federal Reserve became. There was a writer named Eustace Mullins who wrote a book about the Federal Reserve and the secrets that went on behind the scenes to form the Federal Reserve. So we listened to him talk about that, and we got his book. And oh my goodness, the things that not only took place back then, but that are taking place right now. It's just astounding. Then we got another book. I recommend you get a book if you're interested in this sort of a thing, called The Creature from Jekyll Island. And it's about so thick, and it's easy reading. It's easy to read this book. And he talks about different significant events that took place in history, and he breaks them all down. The author's name is G. Edward Griffin. So if you're looking to dig into this kind of a thing, and that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in the history of how we got to this point. But I should probably get going. It's starting to get a little bit dark now, and I hear Emma over there. I know she's waiting for me, and it's probably time to start closing up the chickens. Tomorrow we do errands, and Thursday Danielle and I are going to be working in the kitchen together. I'll be baking a carrot cake, and Danielle is going to make a loaf of bread. She wanted me to teach her how to make the amaranth bread. So that'll be on Thursday, and I'll have the camera out, and I'll be photographing mostly the carrot cake. You've already seen the amaranth cake get baked a couple of times, so we'll photograph that carrot cake. I'll have to get down to the root cellar and get a pound of carrots, which will be an easy thing to do. So that'll be Thursday, and then I got to get back into working on breaking the flax. So, all right, let me turn the camera off and get the animals put to bed. So I'll catch you on the next one, probably tomorrow. Okay, bye.